Let me fucking scoot back a little so I don't punch the microphone.
Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch.
Maybe that one.
Welcome to an episode of Filmoscopy, a quaint little podcast where three friends talk about movies that they picked out for the week or episode, whatever, however you want to look at it. And I am today's guest host because the host is currently shoving his mouth full of a burrito. I am Lance, and we'll say hi to Cody so Owen can swallow his food. Hi, Cody.
Hello.
And Owen, have you cleared your vocal cavity?
My gullet. Hello.
Your gullet?
Hello.
And right now, he hasn't watched this movie, so I don't want anyone on this episode thinking he watched this movie. He has no idea what we're talking about. Because I would not let him watch this, but this is my girlfriend's son, Riley. He just wants to say hi on the microphone.
Hi.
That is Riley. And like I said, he did not watch this movie. Riley wants to say something.
Have a good day, guys.
That's very nice of him. Thank you, Riley. Riley is currently in the middle of letting his Oculus charge up so he can get back on there and kill some people. So...
You know that I was playing World War Z.
I know how you are, Riley. You're a violent person. But let me know if you need anything, all right, buddy?
Bye.
Bye, buddy. So yeah, welcome to Filmoscopy. Owen picked this movie.
Yep.
And I'm extremely happy that he did.
Listener, you have read the title right. The movie is called Butt Boy.
Dude, this is not getting clicked on Spotify. This is not getting clicked on Spotify or YouTube. I am prepared for this to be our worst ever listened to episode.
I'm hoping some people
But
will
it
just
is
click on
probably
it
gonna
just
be
to kind of
our
see,
funniest.
like to be like, what the fuck?
They're gonna click on it for the algorithm. You know what I'm saying?
This is so I've seen two separate release dates for this movie. I've seen one where it says it was released in 2020, and IMDb it says 2019. So I'm not too sure.
2019 was the film festival. It was viewed at.
Okay.
So you didn't say the title.
Yeah, the title of this movie is Butt Boy. I pretty much just watched this.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
based
one
on
thing.
the title.
And the trailer.
Yeah,
you showed us the trailer. We did this. The way these episodes are gonna come out for everybody. We 2 weeks ago did a live recording of Nosferatu 2024. By the time you listen to that episode had been dropped like 2 or 3 months ago. We got off the air. Owen goes, I kind of want to do this movie called Butt Boy. And he showed us this trailer of a movie that felt like an A24 movie, but about a guy shoving things up his butt. And Cody goes, I'm down for it. And so was I. And I will say this. I wish I could get this clip because it would be the intro of the title characters crawling around in an area with a child, which we'll talk about when we get into. And the child goes, what is all this stuff? And the guy goes, this must be all the things he's been shoving up his ass. And I rewind that part 3 times just to hear him say, shove things up his ass.
That's the basic synopsis here, is that this movie is about a guy who goes to his scheduled prostate exam, and before that he has a pretty boring life. His job kind of sucks. His wife hates him. Things are... Do what?
She's cheating on him, probably.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of implied a little bit.
She's cheating on him, too.
But things aren't going his way. But he goes to this prostate exam, and the doctor shoves a finger up his ass, and everything kind of turns around for him, and he has a kind of awakening.
It reminds me...
Yeah.
I'm going to watch this movie with Savannah tonight. Just because she wants to see it. She heard me cracking up a couple of times. She goes, is that movie that funny? Would I like it? I go, I think you like it. You get a kick out of it. It does. I don't know how it does butt humor in the classiest way. like I don't like it is an elegant feeling movie. Like it feels like it's not. It feels like a cheaper made movie. It feels like Office Space, but with butts.
Yeah, I don't think this movie had a very. I can't find anything about the budget, but I can't imagine. So let me just hurry up and say what the movie's about. So after he gets
Hurry
the
up.
prostate exam, he continues shoving objects up his ass, from like his bar of soap to a TV remote, and eventually moving on to a small dog, and then.
Well, hey, you remember? Hold on. So you remember? So he's having intercourse with his wife. He's trying to get her to take her fingers, put it in his butt.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come on, please." And she goes, "What? Okay, I'm done. And so he starts putting up the thing, and it's funny because you see these moments where he's staring at an object, and then you see him like, you don't see it. Like,
Yeah,
this
it just
there's only a few gross scenes.
You never
in this
directly
movie.
see him shove something up his ass, so it's not that like fucked up. But he has a funny reaction every time he does, where he'll do a little moan and he'll fucking fall over onto the floor. So
He looks. If anybody can picture this, the way Quentin Tarantino looks at the girl in From Dusk Till Dawn, because he's a sex offender. Like he hears like her talking. He's like, "Do you want to eat my pussy?" He's like, "Do what?" And have you guys seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
what's going on? But yeah, so basically, he just continues to shove things up his ass, and he moves on to larger objects.
Yeah, when he sees the dog.
Well, we can get.
So
I just
what
wanted
I
to
was
get
talking
like
about before. I
the
just
kind of
remembered.
overview, because I'm sure the audience has no idea what the fuck this movie is like remotely about. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to touch the broad points, and then we can get into the nitty gritty, if that's okay. No, that's not
No.
okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
But he just continues to move on to larger objects, as like dogs and eventually children. And this,
He's the way he stares at things, just like, and that dog just looks so cutely at the camera. I'm like, oh god. And then they don't talk about it. They don't. I guess you just supposed to forget about it. He does put a cat up his butt, don't he?
yeah, he gets a cat
Or another
from like,
dog?
the animal shelter, and that's kind of what tips off the detective character,
Yeah.
because he tracks him.
Yeah, but he didn't get they forgot about that in this thing. They didn't get the cat out, so the cat I guess dies when he blows up.
Yeah.
and then
I always thought that was kind of
unfortunately, the
weird.
Asian
Like,
kid dies at the end too because
Yeah.
of the stomach elixir.
Yeah, he dies. He dies from the
I
stomach.
forget what the fuck it's called. It's like Dr. Somebody's stomach elixir for your gut. But yes.
Yeah. I
Cody,
find it funny
when he was inside of his
like,
gut.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did it remind you at all of the battle inside Majin Buu's body? Dragon
No,
Ball
it
Z.
didn't. It reminded me like of a scene.
Does
of,
it
like,
now after I said
of, like,
that?
Some, huh?
Does
what?
it now after I just said that?
No, it
Can you
still
hear me?
reminds me more of like, yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. At least I can.
No, I just want to make sure this other headphone didn't pop on.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
You.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
God, what a shit! What a shit
technical
show this
Can you
has
hear me?
been. But,
Like, this is not a Verizon customer, anybody.
Yeah.
But no, it reminded me of a scene from like the Upside Down or something in Stranger Things. I guess that like the '80s synth music doesn't really. I mean, it kind of helps play into that a little bit too.
Yeah, it
so.
definitely has like some kind of 80s thing going on with it, with like the synth soundtrack, and it kind of has like an ambiguous setting for like the date.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. I mean, it's got to be late '80s, early
Yeah,
'90s.
yeah.
I mean, they're using floppy disks.
I didn't see a smartphone.
It's corded. Yeah, no, it's corded. There's corded house phones or whatever. Like, yeah, it's got to be late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah. So
But y'all missed a specific detail too about when you were talking about like when he absorbs the cat, because that's when the movie kind of becomes a cosmic horror.
yeah,
film.
that's when he like firmly
He,
like, goes over to being the villain.
yeah, and like he's chasing down the cop with his cheeks spread, and
Yeah,
it's fucking
that-
trying to
dude, that
suck
part-
everything
okay,
into
so-
it.
Look.
That's another thing. So as he anally vores objects, he gains
Okay,
power.
we gotta describe this. Hold on. Owen, you are not giving this the just due it needs. Okay, the cop gets into the car. He's getting on the radio because he's been assaulted by the guy, and all of a sudden, this fucking whirlwind of just wind with like a big horn sound is going off, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Things are getting sucked up, and then he looks over in the rearview mirror, and the guy's ass is out, and it's implying that the guy's ass is doing this like fucking portal from Mortal Kombat, just sucking shit in.
It's a vacuum.
And, and later on, when the cop gets absorbed by it, he does the same thing. And then you see this visual of the cop's head with like these two big skin flaps squeezing his head. And he's supposed to be inside of his body. And, yeah, like, the justice of this part cannot be understated. Like, this movie, like I said, this feels like a well done movie about the most juvenile thing you
That's
could
really what's
come up
impressive.
with.
It is an interesting juxtaposition there. It's like, because it is a genuinely good movie. It's just, it's like it's weird because it's such a good movie and it's well made, but then like it'll just like randomly like, so you're telling me that he shoves objects into his asshole or whatever? It's like, what the fuck?
Hey,
So you're
his
telling
boss
me
goes, "Get the
you're
fuck out of my
working on a-
precinct."
What is he fucking? He's like a thesis.
He's like,
A
he
thesis.
goes, "So you're telling me that this guy is going around shoving things up his ass, digesting them, and then becoming more powerful on the way up?" He goes, "Well, the digested part is just a theory, but yeah, that's my theory." And then when he comes up, he goes, "All that evidence is on that floppy disk." He hands him his badge. He goes, "Get the fuck out of my precinct."
Yeah, but that's the clip we need. That's the clip we need for the intro, where the police chief or whatever's like, "You're telling me," you know. But the thing too.
I'll get the. Cody, if you remember that trailer, which I showed it to Savannah, the image that we get of him with like with the whirlwind going up his ass outside the cop car. Cody, if you remember in the trailer, it's just him gyrating his butt around in the circle in the trailer because they don't have the effect in there yet on that trailer. And then what we get in the movie is him doing it, and then the camera's shaking like ah. It looks like in the Logan movie when Wolverine's
with
going
the-
in slow motion to kill those people.
with the seizure shit. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so
Oh my
I think it's safe
God.
to say positive reactions so far from all three of us.
I feel like I like the movie more than you guys. We'll find out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I like the movie a lot. That's why I was like, I watched it first, and I was like, man, this movie's pretty funny. It might be good to do on the podcast because it's so fucking like weird. So it seems to be kind of a good hitter here. But yeah, one of the things I like about this movie so much, or I guess just to kind of, I guess I should talk about the backstory a little bit. So this movie was directed by Tyler Cornack. They have like so originally this was on like, they have a YouTube channel that kind of does these short video sort of things. And they had originally made a short called Butt Boy. And it's kind of like this. It's pretty much the beginning of this, but it stops up when he shoves the dog up his ass. And it's only like maybe 4 minutes. So I guess they decided to take that concept and stretch it out to a full feature-length film. And I
Turn
think
it into a horror movie.
yeah. So just the way they were able to kind of stretch out this like dumb concept into like a full-length film. Like it starts out as this dumb sketch kind of in the beginning where you're just laughing at him shove shit up his ass, and then about a quarter of the way through it becomes this kind of drama, like like detective drama with this other character who kind of becomes the real protagonist. after the dude starts shoving babies and children up his ass. I like how it's implied that like he does it fucking like instantly too. Like with that one kid who's hiding under his desk. And he just like immediately shoves a, like you don't see it or anything, but it just cuts to like everybody's trying to find him. So
Yeah.
I guess it implies that he could do it like in a millisecond.
The thing that got me was like how quickly like he just escalated things, because it went from like, oh, you know, the finger, and then it's just like, oh, okay, well now it's the dog. Like 2 days, it felt like 2 days later or whatever, and then just a random like baby at the park. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so that's kind of the tipping
the
point
thing,
there.
too.
Is he goes to the park with his wife. They're looking for their lost dog, which he has shoved up his ass. And he sees a mother with a baby, and he just kind of stares at it blankly for a second, and he tells his wife, "Hey, go ahead and go on home. I got this. I can look for the dog." And then after that, it cuts to like the police asking for the whereabouts of this like baby. So,
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, it's not. I was confused. I was looking it up on Wikipedia. The woman at the park with the baby is the cop's wife and his son at the time.
Yeah.
They get separated after, I guess, the baby is absorbed. And and I don't know why, because I didn't realize it when he goes to spy on his wife, his ex-wife, I guess. She's happy-go-lucky with her new husband, not mourning their son at all. I had no idea until I was reading it, because I was kind of confused what was going on. He kept trying to get the kid to say dad. That was actually his son. Like, there's nothing. That's the one thing about the story that's weak. I guess they just assume you're going to know. There's nothing that's said in the movie.
Well, the
that
reveal's when he goes back to the station, and then he kind of uncovers the old case documents, and he like, you know, looks at I forget what the newspaper says, but it's like I don't know, something in that's telling. I can't remember the exact detail, but that's when, you know, you're like, oh, that was his kid.
Yeah, I must have missed that too, because I didn't realize it until he was inside of him, and he like saw the kid there, which I also found it funny. He's like, "Say, Daddy." It's like, this kid doesn't know how to talk. He's literally been here since he was like an infant. Like, I don't even know how he survived. You know?
Yeah, because I thought he absorbed the mom and the kid.
No, yeah, it was just the kid.
You know. Well, see, like I said, I didn't know. Like, it was.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, so yeah, we'll just continue this thought while you do that. What was I saying? The reason that I think you don't see her mourning the kid or anything is because that's 9 years after the fact. So, there's like a 9-year gap before he starts his next absorbing spree, I guess.
Hey, when the cop's in his butt, he wipes the poop off that plaque. You realize they're covered in poop?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was...
all that was fine. The only part that was gross to me is when, after he pooped out the remote control, they actually show the poop, poop water. And then when he poops out the dog sitting in the toilet, he's like, shit.
Well, it's weird to me because it doesn't look like, it looks like blood almost. At least it did. I didn't watch it on Tubi. I watched it on Prime Video. But I don't know if it was just...
Oh, Tubi's the same thing. It's the same quality. It wasn't like some bootleg shit.
Yeah, okay, because like it just... I don't know if it was like my screen, the way it colored it, but to me it was like it all had like a reddish color to it, like it was blood.
Nah, that was just liquid diarrhea. I mean, I have that shit all the time.
Liquid diarrhea, coming for your ego, coming for your rectum. It's gonna tear you up, gonna tear you up. You'll be gripping the counter and you'll be crying in pain. Liquid diarrhea, leaving a shit stain. Oh, liquid diarrhea.
That movie, I swear, dude, this movie, I cackled quite a bit watching it. I mean, I'm juvenile, but this movie was well done. I feel like anybody could watch it and actually take it seriously up until the part where he's walking around in their colon. In his colon.
I think there's only one
Yeah.
part that made me actually laugh out loud. And I know it was toward the end. Fuck, what was it? Oh, maybe it was the moment where they're inside. The detective's already been absorbed, and he's like, "This is all the things he shoved up his ass." Whatever. It's like,
Dude, I rewind that part like at least once, just so I could hear that line again when the kid's like, "What?" I know I've already done it on this recording, but it bears repeating. The kid's like, "What is all this stuff?" He goes, "Looks like it's the stuff that he's been shoving up his ass."
dude, I have
Like-
expected this movie to reveal that he was some sort of like eldritch creature secretly or something, because it's just like such a bizarre concept, especially like with like the whirlwind stuff that's happening, and I'm like, maybe he is some sort of otherworldly being or something that's just like looks like a human, but no, it's just some fucking guy.
God Almighty, dude, this shit's so fucking good. I promise you, man. This is like just how he stares blankly at people when the cops are like, "So when were you at the park?" He's like, "Uh, 9. I mean 9." It's like no one thinks of it as being suspiciously nothing like that. It's just God Almighty, it was so fucking funny. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Oh yeah, I do too. Like I said, it's extremely well made. It's just got that one like quirk to it that makes it sort of ridiculous. But other than that, I mean, it is a well made movie. And
It is beyond ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Like if you think about that idea, we're walking about a movie about some guy shoving things up his ass. And the best part is when he gets that second prostate exam, the doctor goes, "You're kind of loose back here. That's weird." He goes, "Oh, that's strange."
Speaking of fucking, the main, what's the main character's name? Chuck, Grundle, Grunchel.
Chip.
There you go, Chip Gutchell. Chip's wife, like whenever they had the detective over for dinner, like you can tell she just wants to fuck that detective. Like she is flirting hard with him, and it's probably because her husband is a boring weirdo.
Hey Cody, when he
She don't.
when they're having the intercourse, Cody, he's like, "Come on, please."
Just like
Well, the movie's plot is extremely thin.
yeah, there's
but
not, it's
somehow-
not super complex. I guess what's impressive is just the fact that they were able to make any kind of plot with such a goofy kind of paper thin concept.
And they added tension to the movie.
Yeah.
Too. That's the best part about it. They added tension to this movie, and it's like, holy shit, man, this movie is pretty good. Like, I was getting like, is he gonna get caught? Are they getting out? And I had to look it up on Wikipedia. I kind of spoiled the movie for myself, even though I was telling myself not to. I spoiled the movie for myself. I was like, what's gonna happen? There's only like 10 minutes left in this thing.
Yeah. That's another thing I like. It's kind of short. It's a sweet short movie, so it doesn't really overstay its welcome. That and there's other movies like this where like I'm just thinking of shit like Kung Fury and stuff like that, where it's like the movie
Kung Pao.
yeah, maybe Kung kind of Kung Pao, I guess. But what I really like about this movie is that it takes this concept and like it doesn't like wink at the audience. It isn't like, oh, I'm a goofy little movie,
Cody, do you remember when he sticks out his tongue in Kung Pao and you see the mouth going on the tongue?
Yeah. There's like parts of Kung Pao that I'll watch and I'll be like, man, I hate this fucking part. But the part with the guy going, That's a lot of nuts. Is coming up, so that'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
And that one chick that shows her boobs, and she's got one boob. He goes, "There it is."
There it is.
The one thing, because I told you I watched. I think it was I want to say superhero movie. The DVD ahead
Is
of
that
it
the
had
one with
like
Leslie Nielsen and the guy who plays Drake?
no, that one is it's Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, it's Drake. You're right. Yeah. So I got confused for a second. Yeah, that's that one. But the preview they had on it was the Onion movie, and the Onion movie had a trailer for Steven Seagal in a movie called Cock Puncher, and he's like they show him as a young man training with his sensei. His sensei goes, "A man has one true weakness," and he goes, "What is that, sensei?" And he just like does a kung fu like palm fist into the dude's nuts. He goes, "There," and it shows him like through the years training with a bunch of mannequins like hitting their crotch area, and then all of a sudden he turns into Steven Seagal, and it just shows these clips of Steven Seagal going around fighting people, hitting them in the nuts, like he's on a motorcycle and he hits two guys in the nuts at the same time.
Too.
And at the end of the trailer, I'll have to send it to you guys. But at the end of the trailer, it does a close up of Steven Seagal's face. He goes, "I don't think
Yeah,
he cut the
I
balls."
have seen that. Steven Seagal.
Right. Steven Seagal, yeah, lawman. You know, for the last 30 years, I've been making movies. The last 25 years, I've been a cop. But the last 10 years, I've been an open heart surgeon. And the guy's like, I'm making a decision here, and I'm making a decision there. And he's like, "Yeah, you Steven Seagal." He goes, "Oh man, the patient woke up." He's like, "Yeah, man, you Steven Seagal." This is all from the Bob and Tom show, everybody. And he goes, "Hey, man, you got to lay back." I done lost it.
Well, I was saying that one of the things I really think is good about this movie is that it never like winks at the audience. Really, because there's a lot of movies, and just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of like Kung Fury, and then there's that other dumb movie where like it's like 80s. Maybe that is Kung Fury, but they're always like, "We got to go back and kill like Mecha Hitler and shit like that." And it's like really dumb.
Oh yeah, just like jump the shark shit.
Yeah. This movie doesn't jump the shark. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like it rides that line very, very well of like, so it does not get too stupid, basically, from a premise that already is kind of really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes it such a good movie, right? Or that's one of the things that makes it such a good movie is that it does take itself seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't fucking go overdo it and be like, "Oh, whoa, isn't it funny? He's shoving things up his ass."
I think the one...
It takes...
Go ahead, Lance.
Go ahead. I was saying, it takes like the most juvenile, childish idea you could come up with, and somehow creates tension in the movie. Like I was telling Owen, like I had to look up on Wikipedia to see if the cop was going to get out because we had like 10 minutes left in the movie and he was still in his butt. I didn't know what was going on.
Why would you look it up, though? Why not just write it out?
I don't know, man. My anxiety was like, I want to fucking know.
He was tense. He had to look it.
Well,
It's like, I gotta
in
know.
reality, I was also watching a lot of football clips while I was watching this movie, like side-eyeing it. And I'm like, I knew what was going on in the movie. Like I said, the plot's not deep.
Yeah.
But
You can't.
I was watching it, and I
You
was
can't
like,
kind of do that with this movie, but it's a really short. I was saying that too. It's such a short and sweet movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
kind of like this episode of the podcast, probably.
I think the one thing in the movie that's kind of like just... Obviously, the premise is silly, but again, it takes itself seriously. I think the one time that I just kind of like had to smirk and shake my head was when after it in the end when the guy blows up, when Chip blows up,
Yeah.
and they're all standing up and walking away, and like the Asian dad looks at him, and the detective just looks at him and like looks down and shakes his head, and it's just like, how does the dad know that that's where the kid was? Like,
I didn't even think of that. He just instinctually knows. He was like, he was definitely up his ass. sorry he didn't make it, man.
Also, another thing. I know I'm like looking at it from too much of a logical perspective with this, but whenever he does go to the police captain or the police chief or whatever, and he's explaining what's going on the first time, and how he's like, "You're telling me that he becomes more powerful the more items he puts up there," and it's like, but what would lead you to that conclusion?
The only thing I could think of is that maybe because he's shoving progressively larger objects up his ass. That's the only.
But that just means he's increasing his tolerance, not necessarily becoming more powerful.
But he does straight up, like, they're true to that word. He does become stronger and more powerful.
Yeah.
I like how, like, the whole town celebrates him as a hero after the fucking cop just disappears. They're like, you really did it. You really stood your ground against him, didn't you?
But the thing is, do they know it was the cop that shot the plate, like, went in trying to kill Chip?
Yeah, that too. Like, he just sucks him up his ass. Were there any witnesses?
Yeah, well, I mean, because they were in that laser tag, right? And it was dark in there, so...
Yeah, so nobody... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Would anybody even be able to tell it was that cop? This was funny. Well, I guess he did punch him in the head, and then, he got disbarred, so maybe... I don't know. All right, so there's a lot of really good setups the second time around. Like, there's that one part where at the diner when Chip and Russell meet, Butt Guy and the detective. And when they're doing it, of course, he has a little hot sauce that he pulls out of his like little holster, which he eventually uses to blow up Chip. But what Chip says is, he says, like, when Russell asks him if he wants any hot sauce, Chip goes, "Nah, I can't have any. My whole body will explode." Which I think is really funny.
There you go. I like that.
That was like really good. I was like, damn, okay.
I didn't even put that together. That was pretty good.
So they have that. Yeah. So there's some good stuff, and of course you get.
Okay, guys, I see what you're cooking
like
with.
Russell, once you know, the first time around,
hot sauce.
When you find out, that his son was the guy who got shoved up his ass, you kind of understand whenever anybody asks him, "Do you have any kids or anything?" and he kind of does like a weird little pause.
Yeah. Look, I ain't gonna lie, that like anytime someone says in this movie, "shoved up his ass," I crack up. I don't know what it is about that phrase. I think about that girl, that Vine years ago. So she was like, "I just shoved." Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because it's just so silly. It's so ridiculous, like, against everything else that's happening.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like for all intents and purposes, this is a serial killer story. And
yeah, it is.
The only difference is that he's not killing people; he's just shoving them up his ass.
And they subsist. They live and thrive in his ass, even for 10 years.
Ugh.
Oh my god!
I think
I'm curious.
They show that, don't they? Like they're eating the shit.
Yeah,
right?
You're eating undigested stuff. Yes. Here comes a fart.
The kid prays. It's funny because they say grace over it, right? And I'm thinking at that point, at a more meta level, would that mean that Chip is now their god because he's the one that provided the digested food to them?
Oh no!
Bow down to your god. We hope he ate corn this time.
Oh no! Oh Lord, that's so gross.
Harvest.
I wonder if. Hey guys, I wonder if this movie's premise was based off that girl on Vine like 10 years ago. She goes, "I just shoved a whole jar of jelly beans up my ass. I ain't seen shit. It's been 24 hours."
I've never seen that before, but now go ahead and send me the link to that.
Yeah, you have. You've never seen the video girls I shoved a whole jar of jelly beans up my ass. It's been 24 hours. I ain't seen shit.
Probably, I don't think so.
I haven't seen that either.
I'll send it to you guys.
I'm intrigued now, and possibly aroused.
So, I don't know if there's really much to really talk about left in this movie.
Nah, not really.
Because I'm like,
kind of a
this
shorter
movie's
movie.
it's a short movie, but it's like it's a guy somehow eluding the police, shoving things up his ass over the course of a 9-year period.
Yeah, so there is something.
And
there is something because he tries to hang himself in the beginning, right? After
with a garden
he
hose.
Yeah, he has remorse or some kind of remorse for
and then
shoving
I guess
the kid up his ass.
I guess that's the point that he ends up starting going to AA, which is also funny because he's not going to AA because he's an alcoholic. He's an addict just shoving things up his ass.
Yeah, he's using AA to cope with needing to shove things up his ass.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, that's a really good plot point too.
I feel like this episode's gonna end up being the shit show.
That's fine. We can take a little sidebar because I was going to bring this up after we were done recording anyway, but since we need to fill a little more time. So we're all fans of Robert Eggers, right? I don't know if you guys are aware that I guess he has 2 brothers that also started making movies, and one of them actually
I heard something about it.
Yeah, one of them co-wrote The Lighthouse with him, but they put out a movie. His 2 brothers did last year, where they co-wrote it together and they co-directed it together, called The Front Room. And I watched that earlier today, and boy, it is dog shit. That movie sucks.
What's it about?
So the whole premise is that this couple Brandy plays the wife, and I don't know what the guy's name is that plays the husband, but he's not really as important as her character. So the husband's dad passes away, and he has a stepmom who's like super religious, right? And the church, they go to like the church for the dad's funeral, and it's like kind of cult-like almost. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I kind of see where this movie's going, right? But I didn't. It's so, and they kind of hold his stepmother in this like high regard, as like, because she claims that the Holy Spirit moves through her and speaks through her and acts through her and all that.
Sexy.
So they're kind of like, Brandy and the husband are kind of like, that she's pregnant and she ended up quitting her job, and they're like kind of like struggling to get by. And then this offer comes along after the guy's dad passes away. It's like, well, if you let your stepmother live with you for the rest of her life, because she's old and brittle and all that, then you can have everything that we're leaving behind, all the money and everything. And so they end up doing it. But it turns out like this woman she's a racist. She puts up like Confederate memorabilia in her room, and she tries to like basically take control of the household. But the problem with the movie isn't really the setup or the premise. The problem is it feels like it's building towards something big. Like there's a little like hints of like, oh, like this isn't really like a Christian church. Like it is like a cult sort of situation. Yeah. And it feels like it's building toward this big climax of like the cult like being a huge problem for this couple, but it never happens. Like ultimately the stepmother just like she ends up dead at the end of the movie. I don't want to give spoilers away for how, just in case someone listening to this wants to watch it, although I would not strongly advise you not to. But yeah, it just kind of ends, and it's like, what the fuck? Like I don't know. Like it definitely felt like a movie that those 2 guys probably had like an idea for, right? And then they got to making it, and they probably got the funding and stuff, and I'll be honest, probably based on their last name, and they got the funding for it, and then they start making it or writing it and stuff. They're like, oh shit, like we really don't know what the fuck where we're going with this, but we got to make the movie because it's been funded. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it's atrocious.
I'm just trying to read to see what the ending, like what the fuck it leads up to.
A whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of Rosie.
This is like so dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, It's like there's no like most horror movies like that. It like lead up like Hereditary, for example. It leads to this like big like really like tense climax of the movie in the last like 10 or 15 minutes. And this does not build up to that anything like that whatsoever. Yeah. It's just like holy shit, man.
I was reading a Reddit post and apparently people thought it was funny. It was
there are the way that the stepmother acts, it's like you kind of laugh because it's like this is like I think they're trying to make it come off like it's unsettling the way she's acting, but it just really comes off as goofy. Yeah, it's not good.
I love unintentional comedy. But did it seem like it was like supposed to be a horror? Like even like the score?
Oh yeah,
everything?
it is. Yeah, it is supposed to be like a horror movie, and the reason I say like that it feels like something that they had some ideas for, but just couldn't really like figure out how to make a full like script out of it, is there's a couple of scenes that really like seem like the type of scenes that's like, oh, this would be really cool to have in this movie, right? Like really like ratchet up some of the tension and everything. And like there's this, I'm just going to say it, spoilers for the fucking Front Room if anyone gives a shit. So there's a scene where like, cause Brandy feels like the stepmother's trying to take over the household, right? And take over like kind of like become her husband's mother again. And the husband was like, does not like her whatsoever because she's very abusive and controlling and stuff when he was a kid. But so like there's this scene where she walks downstairs and where Brandy walks downstairs and the stepmother's room is downstairs. And as she's walking down the stairs, you hear like someone crying, like a baby crying, but then you hear like, "Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, mommy." And it's the husband. And it's like, what the fuck? And like she opens the door. Because like motherhood and like, you know, the whole act of like breastfeeding and stuff, that's like a big like thematic thing in this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's like laying across her lap, and like she's got like this big blanket over him or whatever, and then like the blanket either falls down or she moves it out of the way.
That's
and
horrifying.
He's like sitting there suckling on her tit, and it's like,
okay,
but
so is he sucking on the old woman's tit?
What? Yeah, the old
I haven't
lady,
been listening to a fucking word. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, the old lady, and so it's like. But like that right there already like kind of killed the scene anyway, because it's like, mommy, I'm hungry. It's like what the fuck? And then then there's there's another scene where after Brandy has had her child, and the stepmom had like who claimed that she couldn't get up the stairs because she uses like two walking like canes or whatever instead of using a walker, which is also just bizarre. She goes upstairs and she takes the baby downstairs and she's like swaddling it or whatever, standing up in like their kind of living room area. And Brandy turns a corner, but like she starts getting like this weird vision of the stepmom in almost like a Mother Mary type garb, right? Like with the white like cloth around her head and all that. And then like cool. She's breastfeeding. Ooh. It like in this weird vision, she's breastfeeding the baby, but she has like 6 breasts, and they're all hanging out. And it's like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a couple of things where it feels like they probably came up with like general like story things that are like, oh, this would be really neat to do in this, but the rest of the movie around it is just terrible. Like, and even like I said, that one scene, it's just the setup for it. It's just like
I can see how it would be like disturbing, but definitely like the mommy, I'm hungry.
Well, and something else that just completely kills any tension in the movie is, like I said, the way the grandmother acts, or the stepmother acts. She acts like a toddler a lot of times because she's trying to get attention from Norman, the husband, and so she'll be like, help me, and she talks in like this really horrible, like really like deep South accent.
Yeah, that's like
And
obviously
it already sounds
fake.
like she's got. Yeah, and it sounds like she's got false teeth in her mouth on top of it, so she's kind of hard to understand sometimes. But at one point, they find out that she's incontinent, right? And she starts deliberately like
Shitting
just to like
herself.
because because Brandy is the one that's like taking care of her, so like she ends up deliberately like pissing on the floor and shitting the bed, and every time she does, like she'll like lay in her own filth and she'll be like MESS MESS like what the fuck is this?
I'm a baby.
She does that. Oh my god, she does that at one point too.
Dude,
because
this sounds funny.
they're sitting at the dinner. They're sitting at the dinner table, and Brandy like calls her out on her bullshit in front of Norman. So she's trying to get Norman to realize like how much of a fucking terror this woman is, and she literally starts throwing a fit like a baby. She's like wah wah goo goo ga ga and like throwing food around and stuff. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like
this movie sounds fucking hilarious.
it's so dumb.
Baby.
But yeah. If you're curious to watch it just to like laugh at it or whatever, it's only like 90 minutes long and I think it's on Max, but it's like holy shit, dude. Like I didn't know it was like Eggers Brothers or whatever that made it before. I was just like, oh, it's a new horror movie that came out last year in theaters. And I knew people said it was bad, but I never really looked into why. And I was like, oh yeah, this is terrible.
Because I'm a baby. Wah. Baby made a little stinky.
There's a scene. She throws herself on the floor. I don't remember if this is the same dinner scene or a different dinner scene because there's like 10 fucking dinner scenes in this movie. She throws herself on the floor and starts like acting helpless. She's like, help me. And then she like sits up, but she like gets like on like her knees and like her hands are stretched out in front of her, right?
Yeah.
And she's like the camera shows her sticking her ass up in the air and she just rips a giant fart. It's like,
dude, there's no way that this movie isn't meant to be a fucking comedy movie. Like they pulled the rug.
Dude, it is.
Under somebody,
if you watch
like,
it,
fucking, they were like, yeah, this is gonna be horrifying, dude. They just like
if you watch it, it is straight up presented like it's supposed to be a horror movie.
She just made a stinky fart.
And like it's an A24 movie. It's an A24 movie. That's
a
what
horror movie for
that's
the people
what I'm
who
sa-
financed the movie.
Yeah, that's what the real horror was for.
That was when they showed the fucking producers. That was like they were like, oh my god, this is the scariest movie we've ever seen.
Lord, man, it's like that's what I'm saying. Like because it's an A24 movie, it has to be like we love working with Robert Eggers. He makes great movies. Let's work with his brothers. Like I don't know what else it could have possibly been.
We can catch lightning in a bottle again.
Oh man.
So look forward to our next episode on what is this fucking movie called?
The Front Room.
The Front Room. Why is it called The Front
Almighty.
Room? What a weird title.
I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, maybe because her bedroom. Maybe it's a reference to like the bedroom she stays in the movie, which is like the front room in the house or whatever. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But
That's what she makes her
Cody,
dookies.
Cody, you remember
yeah.
that Limp Bizkit song, "Front Porch"? They do the front porch. Whoa, I was taking to the back door, or some shit like that.
No, I don't remember that one.
That was from the Gold Cobra album.
Oh, okay. Is that the one that has Paul Wall in it or whatever? Is that the song that has him in
Paul
it?
Wall. Yeah, he's on a song, but he's not on that Front Porch song.
Oh, okay, I got you. What it do, baby?
Siconia, Golden Cobra.
It's the Iceman Paul Wall.
So real quick, let's go ahead and do we recommend Butt Boy?
Yes.
I do. Yes. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely watch it. I mean, it is a very well made movie with a silly premise but the fact that it's so well made and everyone in the movie takes it so seriously just makes it like. This could have easily been a Freddy Got Fingered situation, right?
Yeah, I bet you guys
But
were
it's-
probably
it's-
thinking it was. I think Lance said something like that. Oh, is this like a fucking Freddy Got Fingered movie or something like that?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's like, but it's definitely not that. Like everyone in the movie is taking it super seriously, and it's so good because of it.
Yeah, I think it's real well done. It's funny. I'm gonna watch it again tonight with my girlfriend Savannah. Her son won't watch it, so don't worry about that.
It's gonna have nightmares.
So, and from now on, when we have our moments, we'll start putting her
Come
hand
on.
toward my butt, like, come on, please.
Just try it. For real, why didn't she just try it? She could have
Be
saved
careful.
the
Be
lives of so many people.
Be careful, Lance.
I don't know. She might have been eaten. I mean,
Yeah. But I was gonna say, be careful, Lance. You goof around with Savannah like that, she may actually do it.
no, she wouldn't do it because she fears what's inside.
Dude,
Like,
you
she
never
knows
know what lurks.
I have explosive bowels. Because she's told me before, like, I'll bend down. She does this thing where she tries to poke my butt with her finger because she thinks it's funny when I go, woo, where I'm like, stop it. And I tell her, like, you know what, you go ahead and fucking touch it. I just pooped like 10 minutes ago. And she'll look down at me and she'll go, disgusting. But she knows, she's like, I thwarted her plans. Yeah, she's so gross. But yeah, I don't know why she does it. Or why I bend down when I'm in front of her. Usually it's because I drop something. And she'll be like, like she waits for that
She's
shit.
like, you gonna pick that up?
But yeah. It's like that scene in the third Naked Gun movie when he's in prison, and then the guy drops a bar of soap. He goes, "Bend over and pick it up for me." He goes, "Would you love her?" And Leslie Nielsen goes, "No problem." He turns around, bends down. He's got this metal like underwear with locks everywhere, so no one can get in. Man, I love you, Leslie Nielsen. You're the best. But yeah, so the next episode of this podcast will be mine, and we are finally returning to Camp Crystal Lake. Oh, sorry.
What?
We're coming to Camp Forest Green.
It's
in
not
Friday
Camp
the
Crystal
13th,
Lake.
Part 6. So yeah. Hey man, we gotta save it for the episode, my friend. I gotta rent the movie for you guys too. Don't let me forget that.
Is it not?
And I
on
gotta do a
Max?
bunch of research.
Is it not on Max anymore?
Well, I asked you about 5 when we did 5 like a month and a half ago, and you said it's like, no, the only ones on Max now are like the remake and like
Yeah.
Ever
the first one.
Ever since we watched the last one, I keep saying, "Eat your fucking slop."
You keep saying
Yeah.
what?
The eat your fucking slop.
Oh yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
eat in here and eat your dinner. Like when Cody-
Eat your fucking
like,
slop.
You hang around Cody enough, Cody does this thing talking to his dogs. He's like, get in your kennel. And he'd never seen that movie before. Or to the extent that I've watched it, but I always thought about her saying that. Like, would you shut the fuck up? And this Cody just like, get in your kennel. I just think about the same thing as like, get in here and eat your supper. But we'll be watching Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. So I wonder what the movie's going to be about. But yeah, Cody, what's going to be your movie after that?
Hold on. Let me
Say
think
it's
of
a
how this.
Highlander. Say it's a
Let me think of
Highlander.
how this
Say it's a
order
Highlander.
goes, because we may have to do
It's a
Owen
Highlander.
again. Because let me say, okay, so Monday THX
Let me
goes
speak
live.
on this.
2 weeks after THX, it'll
Owen
be
movie.
Logan,
That's my
and then-
movie.
and then 2 weeks after that will be this episode. 2 weeks after that will be Saw, which we've already recorded. And then 2 weeks after that will be Friday 13th, Part 6. Yeah, and then 2 weeks after that will be whatever Owen's next movie is. So yeah, Owen's next movie will be what we record after Friday 13th, Part 6.
Okay, got you. Sorry,
And then,
I
and
just
then it'll be
couldn't remember the
mine,
order.
So.
I'm sure Owen will have something hasty, potentially something filling, or at least expunging for us to watch next time. which he won't figure it out for the next month. So he'll be all right.
I need to cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, don't worry. Let this man cook. Yeah, everybody, get a chance. Watch Butt Boy. It's on Tubi. Tubi's a free app. You don't even have to make an account. You can just watch stuff off of it. You don't have to sign up or anything. It's awesome. And this movie's hilarious. Don't watch it with any kids, though. Do not watch it with any kids. So
Yeah, because
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Chip Gutchell might
And
come.
What?
Shut him up to your-
Oh God!
You said don't watch it.
Just like-
Don't watch it with your kids. I said yeah, because Chip might come for him.
He will. That's so gross. Anyway, everyone, thank you for listening to Filmoscopy. Like, share, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Google us. You'll see us. And thank you for listening this far. And finish him
Off?